the apocalypse.
Good morning and what's going on, my friends? Welcome to another Subie Shaves video with me on a beautiful day. Hashtag Team All Blade and hashtag No Blade Left Behind. Let me see some Subie smiles, and you know I've got to say it, squad goals. Thank you so much for clicking into our video and for joining us. Hopefully wherever you're watching from today, you're drinking something delicious and you're sitting in a comfy chair. I know I'm ready for a shave and I hope you are too. Oh, it's going to be awesome. We have 48 hours and today we're going to be knocking it down with the Blackland Blackbird titanium razor. I did get this razor in full satin as it is offered on the website right now, and I took it and mirror polished it by hand. I love this razor, and I want to give my buddy John a huge shout out and a massive thanks for making this razor one that I could own without having to live on a couch. Massive, massive thanks. Love this razor, and today while we're using this, we're going to be talking about the brand new offering from Blackland, the Osprey, right? Their adjustable razor, and why I didn't purchase it. I want to give you some of the insights that I have and some of the things that I want to call out that others may not know about yet, and I do definitely think it's going to be valuable for anybody interested in that razor, this razor, or one of the other razors offered by Blackland Razors. Shane does an amazing job. I want to call that out really first and foremost. He does an incredible job. He's an innovator in the market space, right? He is the R&D division for a lot of different companies at this point, and I want to give Shane a huge high five and a massive thanks for producing razors that really do shave exceptionally. But I want to call out a few things before you go wild over on the website and spend a lot of money. Oh, it's going to be an awesome shave. We're ushering it in. I don't care. It's that fall season. I've got the fun colors out. I've got all the fun skulls and stuff, and today we're rocking out with this beautiful, one of my all-time favorite fall scents. This is Blue Samhain. Samhain, however you want to pronounce this, right? Pronounced Samhain, and I love this one. It's an awesome, beautiful scent that reminds me of Sunday freaking brunch. Blue salmon. This is the scent. I love this time of year. You can see this is one that gets taken with us even on traveling trips during the summertime. I love this scent. It reminds me of summer, like Sunday brunch. It's got like a weird mapley cinnamon, almost like French toast smell to it. That's what I get out of it. I know a lot of other people have, talked about the scent notes and all the things in it. I have as well, but for me, overall, this just makes me hungry. I love this one, and we're going to be using it today. The lather. Can we talk about this lather? It is so easy to develop with Jeremy's Mountain Hare Shaving glow in the dark beautiful hybrid brush, and I am using an Omega brush knot. I actually had an Omega brush break, and I'm using the brush knot from my Omega 1098 or 96 or something. I got a long time ago. It broke a long time ago, a plastic one, and I just rehoused the knot. Take a look at the shimmer, the shine, the gloriousness. I love this. I'm not a professional lather at all. I am definitely still working on mine on the daily, but boy is that shiny and awesome, and it just goes right on. I told myself as I was painting it on this one, I was like, I could shave multiple times if I could, because of how nice the lather is. Oh, it smells just absolutely intoxicating, inviting, and I'm really excited to be knocking it down with you on channel day. It's gonna be awesome. Thank you all for being here. Oh, I love this razor, and this is one of the ones over on Blackland. If you look at the different options, you're going through their website, they even mentioned this is the one they recommend if you're looking to get the closest shave of your life, right? They say, look no further, and I quote, I love this razor, and as we're shaving today, I'm gonna talk about why. Now let's talk first and foremost, let's get it out of the way. The Osprey. How many of you out there are sleeping on the couch this week? Let me know in the comments below if you went and snagged one. They are available on the website. They did release. Shane has done an amazing job. I just want to call that out. He went to a ton of work to document, talk about all the things that he's doing with the razor, how it was being produced. It's a multifunctional razor that fully adjusts. It's supposed to adjust the blade gap and the blade exposure as stated by their website. It is almost like a three-piece, but it's fully adjustable. It works, and similarly it clamps like the Blackland Era is something that he mentioned. He's very proud of the clamping mechanism inside of the new Osprey. I have always thought Blackland razors clamp down and secured extremely tightly. You can feel the blade almost torque into place as you're screwing it together. Very beautiful pieces of equipment, but you're paying a high price, right? Let's start shaving. 2 days of growth with Wizamet Super Iridium. This is what we're gonna be knocking down today, and I'm really, really happy to be doing it with this one. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. I don't feel bad about not shelling out the 350 bucks personally, and we're gonna talk about it. But for me, I love this razor, and it's a hard thing when you're getting into the premium space, right? Justifying 350 bones for something that's never existed. Now, I was a person that, felt like as a channel owner and a person that does shaving reviews, right? I felt very responsible to buy one of these razors so that I could share what I thought about it and help other people, even if I didn't need it necessarily, right, personally. But as I started doing more and more research, I found out they are going to be offering that razor first and foremost in titanium at a later date. I want to call this out. I'm going to have a thing in the bottom here showing and talking about it. There is a couple forums where Shane directly has posted on Badger and Blade, and a couple other websites talking in a forum about the Osprey and some of the people just asking questions and him answering questions. They are going to be offering that razor in titanium. So if you're a person that wants a titanium model and you go on their website and you only see in stainless, the reason why they're doing that apparently is because, and I'm going to have the quote here, they want to make sure that the stainless one shaves good enough that they make it in titanium. Now, that kind of worried me. If it's not fully vetted to the point where you feel confident to release it in both finishes, right? You feel like, oh, we should probably release the cheaper one, the cheaper, the 350 bucks, right? And let people kind of use it and then dial it in. We saw that happen with the Rex Ambassador, right? Matt released that razor in its first variation and people got beat up pretty bad. And that was something that kind of worried me is this doesn't sound like it's in its final, it may be, but it sounds like they're looking at maybe doing some updates to the razor as people kind of comment and provide reviews. I didn't want to buy a first gen just to provide reviews to have it updated and released in titanium with some updates. The other thing that I found out as I've been doing a little bit of research about the Osprey, it is not disassemblable. So that was one of the things that was a huge make or break for me with the Rex Ambassador. And I actually reached out to Matt and he will sell the Rex Ambassador being able to be fully disassembled. Now, some people out there will say, that it causes more grief than good. But I'm a person that likes to fully clean and break my razors down. And that's why I love 3-piece razors. It's something I like to do. Now, a lot of people, like you own a leaf, right? You're not breaking your leaf down and cleaning it every time. They don't care. Some people don't care. I like to be able to break my razors down. That was one of the call outs, one of the things I really thought was kind of weird. And they're saying that the only way you can have that razor serviced or fully disassembled is if you send it in. I don't love that very much at all. Even with the titanium one they're going to be releasing, I think that's one of the things that a major con for me. So the two cons for me so far had been the price point, right? On a razor that's never been released, that kind of worried me a little bit. I just don't love that it's never been really shown to work. So I know they mentioned in their webpage that razor is one of the first time, right? It's super unique, ultra innovative, and that is what a market leader should be doing, and that is what Shane is doing as the market leader, right? Is thinking ahead and really pushing the bounds of what's available in the shave space. Really cool. I love that he went through with a birdcage design on that razor, right? It's hollow. And I know after talking with Chiseled Face, so I actually spoke with Chiseled Face because they offer a hollow handle, right? They said they will not make it in titanium anymore because it's so difficult to do. Kudos to Shane for getting that to work and making it hollow. That is difficult to do. Not only is it hollow, but it has a brass insert that actually can adjust the weight for you as you're like trying to dial in your shave. So not only can you adjust the number, but you can also adjust the weight of the razor by changing your insert. Now, Shane did mention in the forum, he is looking at doing other inserts, some other offerings as the razor kind of develops, which is really cool. I could see that being nice with being able to add different weights and different materials, even if you're doing it for an aesthetic purpose, right? I did talk to a couple of my friends that said they didn't love the idea of doing a brass insert because it's going to patina and look weird with the stainless. And it may actually patina and blend onto your stainless. It may stain some of the stainless, right? May end up tarnishing your finish a little bit, and they didn't love that. One thing that it's either a make or break for me on the Osprey is the finish. They have gone in and left machine marks. Now, Shane has a whole entire thing. He's very good. That's one thing I love about this guy. He's very good about saying, this is what's going on, right? We're going to leave the machine marks, but you're going to like it. And for some reason, everybody's like, yeah, I like that. It's functional. It makes more grip. Listen, I am a person, if my razor looks like something out of Minecraft that's not fully rendered, I'm not going to love it personally. And that was one thing I noticed about the stainless steel one, is that it had a lot of machine marks. And I actually called it out a couple times when I bought the Blackland Blackbird Titanium, or I actually traded for it, right? Is that you could see the machine marks. They were deep, deep machine marks. And I was like, for the money here, right? Because it's $380, $90, right? Depending on which model you get, plus the $75 inkwell. So at the end of the day, you're almost $500 for the razor. And if it has like a bunch of machine marks and a bunch of like unfinished parts that are not deburred even, I felt like that was kind of lackluster. I was looking more for my finish. And I think that's something that, you know, we should expect from the market leaders, maybe a little nicer finish. Now, Blackland has come out, and I did mention that this is going to be fully transparent, gloves off, right? I'm taking the Subie gloves off. I hope you're okay with that. I know some of you getting your torches ready. You're like, here it comes. I do want to call it out. So Shane is not making that razor in-house. Now, I did ask him directly. I shot him an IM, and I said, hey, directly, straight up, are you guys making this razor? Is this being outsourced? This is a razor that's being outsourced to their other machinists. They're using Blackland's design, but it's not made by Blackland, right? It's a razor that's being produced almost as like a by Blackland, not as Blackland. If that makes any sense, it's essentially the same thing that happened with the Hare. And I always thought that was kind of weird, paying Blackland level pricing for a product that is not produced in-house. Now, Shane did reassure me that it is being done by the people that only work with Blackland and only produce stuff for Blackland. But at the same time, right, unverified, parented product that's not disassemblable, and a non-titanium product, right? For the price of a titanium product, I was like, okay, these are things that I'm worried about, and I don't think everybody knows, right? I don't think everybody understands that when they go to unassemble the razor, it's not fully disassemblable. And I was just like, oh, that's kind of a bummer, but it's not a complete loss, right? I don't think that's a deal breaker. Another thing that kind of threw me for the final, like, I'm going to continue waiting, right? Other than the finish here, was for me the ability to look at specs, right? So when you go over on most web pages, the Tatara Muramasa, let's talk about that razor, right? A very high-end, very expensive, fully adjustable razor where it does in fact move the safety bar up and or side forward and backwards while moving the gap up and down. It is unique. When we say unique, it is truly unique because it fully adjusts up and down and side to side. So you get a fully different, it's strange. It was a strange shaver. So but you know that they specify that, and you see it on their website and the specs. Shane over at Blackland has mentioned he is not going to disclose specs. So they will not tell you what the gap or the exposure is. So you're kind of getting a razor that's not fully, it's not fully transparent. You don't know what the specs are. They are doing a thing where they are relating it to the other razors they offer. And I can totally understand that. That's cool. I think that's great. I worry about people that have never used a Blackland razor. And I was a person, honestly, that when I read the concepts for the Osprey, right, I'm trying to read through them, like, well, where does the Treasure A, rate comparatively? And they have it kind of listed up to Blackbird level of efficiency. But as far as like what your actual blade gap and actual exposure is, I wish they disclosed that, so you know for sure this is definitely a razor that's unique and never been offered before. I think that's something they kind of missed out on, because they're saying it's an adjustable razor with a versatility never offered before. But at the same time, and they do say that it adjusts the exposure and the gap, but it's not really specified how or what those numeric values are. And I just wish I could see that as a person spending that kind of money. That's kind of what I would expect. Overall, in the end, I did not buy the razor. I have friends that did. I had a bunch of buddies reach out to me and said, don't worry, I'll get it. I'll give you the review. And I thought that was great. That's what the community is all about. You know, I do the reviews. I try my best to be on top of all of the different razors coming out so that you don't have to be, right? That's my goal. I want to make it so you guys can just come to our channel reliably and get a very transparent, honest, one-to-one kind of review. And overall, I'm not doing it for the Osprey stainless. And I reached out to a couple of my friends and said, if they do release this in titanium, after it's fully vetted, as they explained, I will get it for us. It's a razor that I do think has some merit to it. I do have one other final thing, critique. Can we just have a critique session here for 1 second? I know they've spent a lot of time engineering the product and thinking about the product and fully conceptualizing the product, right? But I think if you have to unadjust, so the way it works, and it just threw me for a loop here, is in order to fully, to adjust it, you have to unscrew the handle. And that gave me severe pause. So as a Gibbs user, right? As a Gibbs user, if you assemble your razor backwards, like if you accidentally assemble the screws backwards on the adjustment mechanism, you have to actually unscrew the handle to be able to manipulate the dial. And that is something that I hate. When my Gibbs is assembled backwards, I instantly I'm like, oh, that sucks. Because you can't adjust the knob without unscrewing the handle. That is how the brand new Blackland Osprey works. Let's call it out. Let's say what it is. It's not fully adjustable on the fly. So you're shaving. We just did this pass, right? We loved the pass. It was awesome. We're doing our shaving. Well, we want to go to like a higher aggressiveness, right? We could just use a little bit more. You're going to have to unscrew the handle slightly and then adjust the dial and then retighten the handle. I don't know if I like that. It sounds dangerous, first and foremost. Anytime you're disassembling or unscrewing what's supposed to secure the head to the handle, and you're like, this part's getting wobbly, I worry that this is not going to be a little bit sketchy. Now, Shane did mention that's a concept that he's fully okay with talking about. He said, it's something, part of the design that it's there. It's not changing. So if you're not okay with unscrewing the handle and then putting the dial forward or backwards and then rescrewing it back together, I would advise against getting the Osprey. We'll see. Maybe they come up with a concept like the Gibbs. Maybe it's just being assembled backwards. All they have to do is assemble it one other way, and then it will work with assembling, being able to adjust it on the fly. But right now, as is, I don't think the Osprey is actually fully adjustable. In my opinion here, that's my opinion because it isn't adjustable on the fly. Now, I feel like the Rockwell 6S, very similar, right? It's a modular system, but you actually have to take the handle off and change the base plate out. Now, it's not quite as bad as that, right? But you're entering that realm. The old Gillettes, right, of old, the Slims, the Fat Boys, they were designed similarly, where you had to unadjust the TTO knob in order to open the doors up slightly to adjust the actual dial, or you will break the mechanism. Now, again, that is a concept that is being, it's very popular. People still love their Gillettes. I love my Gillette, but it's something I know, and I just want to call that out. That is going to be part of the system. For all those reasons, I didn't buy one, and you're not going to see a review on the stainless version unless somebody's like, hey, you want to borrow mine, right? For all those different purposes, like the finish, I feel like it's just that raw material. It's a lot for $350 for me personally, right? The Rex Ambassador, I had been through multiple variations and iterations before I purchased it. I hate to say it. I was like, you know what? I've heard bad things, and then they eventually got really good, and I own both. I have the console and the Rex, right? And this one, for me, is definitely a grabbable. I want to get the titanium. I thought it was going to originally release in titanium, and apparently they considered releasing it in titanium and stainless at the same time, but they decided against that for the reasons of they want to do one thing really well first. I hope that they do the one thing really well first, because this right here is where their bar is. And I'm going to say it again. This is the bar. If it doesn't shave as good as the Blackland Blackbird titanium razor for me, then it's a miss. And I have a hard time thinking that another razor is going to be able to do that. This, for me, you saw it take down 2 days without even blinking. It's a daily driver for me without problems, without nicks. No irritation, no dings, no problems. And I love this. It is expensive, and I want to call that out. I do believe in supporting our artisans, right? We saw so many last year disappear because they don't get the product support and community support that I wish that they did, right? So many, like Above the Tie, right? Just didn't get the sales that they were needed to stay in business. And I think if you love a brand, stand by it by, using your wallet. That's how we keep people in business, and that's how we keep getting great stuff. I love this razor, and it's a razor that was worth the money for me, at least. I know it's a big ask when we look at these kind of things, and I don't believe you need to spend this kind of money to get that kind of shave. But if you're okay with getting a razor and kind of setting some money aside as an investment, I do think this is a razor that is worth looking at. It fully secures the blade, and it covers the blade tabs, which I really appreciate. It's a modern angle. It doesn't shave like a traditional razor, like the old ones with the standard head cap. But I do like that style. It just shaves really smooth for me, and it's one that I keep reaching for, and I just wanted to share my thoughts on their new razor and why I'm using this one today. Thank you again for being here. I really enjoyed the shave, and I hope you did too. Grab a little alum here. We're tossing it on. I just wanted to double check a few little spots on the back of my head. Beautiful. Absolutely, as usual, glorious shave. Thanks for joining me for one more splash for good measure, and we'll get out of here. Thank you so much, and I hope this has been entertaining and informative and enjoyable. I am a person that really believes in supporting the artisans and supporting design, people creating designs that are pushing, what's done in the modern market. But until we see some more fully vetted options for the Osprey, I'm going to wait, and I'm going to wait till we get it in titanium. I do think they produce a beautiful titanium razor, and that's really what I'm interested in going forward. We'll talk a little bit later about it, hopefully. And until I see you guys again, thanks for being here. Go below, smash that sub button. Let me know in the comments if you did get an Osprey. I'd love to talk about it. Or if you're just a person like me that loves the Blackland Blackbird or one of their other razors, they really do awesome things and awesome designs that can be used forever. Oh, it was great. Thank you again for being here. Till I see you guys again, I'm going to go enjoy a beautiful BBS, and I'll see you in the next one. Subes out!